All right, I want to be real for a second. The past couple of videos, I haven't been very nice to minivans, right? I've mentioned like the ID Buzz is like a minivan in disguise, or like some other vehicles have the same functionality as a minivan, but without being a minivan, because nobody wants a minivan. But that's the thing, like, why don't we want minivans? Like, why do we hate on minivans so much? I gotta find out. I need to know, because this is the Chrysler Pacifica minivan. It's a hybrid. And if I need to know something is equivalent to a minivan, I got to know what a minivan is actually like. And the specs on paper, the things that this thing is capable of, they're respectable. I get why people actually buy minivans, but I needed to know for myself firsthand, so we can dig into this here. So this isn't the most exciting vehicle in the world, but if you want practicality, you're looking at, well, first of all, two different tanks. You have a charge port up here at the front for a 12.5 kilowatt hour battery, and yes, it can drive in E-only mode. And then back here, there's a gas tank. And so, well, I have to open that inside the car, but combined, it's getting you about 30 miles per gallon, a little bit more on the highway, 500 plus miles of range on a full tank. And then you're looking at forward-wheel drive, a CVT transmission, about a 7.5 second 0 to 60, but that's not why you buy a minivan. There's a whole bunch more inside, so I'm just going to jump in and take a look. Like I said, I've sat in some vehicles that are similar to minivans, but now that I'm sitting in an actual classical minivan, it's pretty nice. This is pretty solid, so I'll say. So first of all, this is the pinnacle trim of the Chrysler Pacifica. This is one of the nicest you can get. This is a $60,000 minivan, but a lot of the classics and just pure utility is showing everywhere. And first of all, a lot of nice materials. Like, I wouldn't have normally expected nice brown leather ventilated seats with this cross stitching and piping and everything in a minivan, but hey, you can get that at this highest level. This is soft, it's nice. There's matching brown in the door and then contrasting black. This is plastic, but it's a little soft, so you might say it kind of looks like leather. But then there's two things that I notice most in the front seat as an owner: tons of storage and tons of physical controls. So storage in the middle is nice, right? There's a bunch of USB ports, C and A. There's also an aux port, which is pretty rare. A little storage here. There's a wireless charger for your phone, and you can hide that. There's also a Blu-ray player. Okay, we'll get to that. Cup holders here, and then this massive center tray with, this is the first time I've ever seen this in a vehicle I'm testing, coin holders. That's coin slots for your toll booth. So you're going through a toll booth, you've got a whole bunch of quarters, nickels, pennies, dimes, I don't know. But you have coin holders there and a whole bunch more space and more power. That's nice. There's also even some more storage down here underneath that center console space where my mic holder is stored. So that's pretty nice. It's kind of hard to access that most of the time, but it's there. And then in the middle, tons of physical controls. And that's not even counting the HomeLink setup right here on this huge sunshade. And you also have physical controls to open the doors and turn the lights on and off. So they're keeping it simple. They're not messing with like touch-sensitive lights and things like that. These are all buttons, all HVAC control buttons. Your traction control is a button. Your HVAC, your radio volume, a button. Fan speed, button. Actually, it's just a slider, which is nice. And then your Prindle, which does lag a little bit. This is the one thing I found is kind of annoying. If you're doing a K-turn and you got to do a whole bunch of these movements, that can be kind of annoying. But other than that, it's only two screens. This one here, medium-sized one in the middle, which has Android Auto wirelessly going, by the way, and the other is right behind that steering wheel, which is going to show you things like your battery, your tire pressure, and your range, which right now is almost 400 miles with plenty to go. But let's be real, you're probably not getting a minivan just for the driving and the front seat. It's for a lot of the things happening behind the front seat, right? So, okay, let's dig into that. I want to go to the second row of the Pacifica, which leads us to this wonderful moment where we get to open this huge sliding door. Very accessible in parking spaces. Okay, so the second row, again, is got these nice seats, which will move obviously, but it's a captain row setup, so two seats in the middle, and this nice Pacifica pillow, which is really soft. This is a nice trim. And then of course, so your fingers don't get stuck in the door, you have got this button right here to close it automatically, which, oh, hey,
what's
how's
up,
it going?
bud? Hey.
Resident Dad here.
Resident Dad, we're here.
So you can help me walk through the whole backseat experience and why this is actually kind of an ideal vehicle.
Yeah.
So where do we start? I'm looking at a lot of things right behind me, and I see an aux port, an HDMI, full size, and a charging port. So what's happening on these chairs?
You've got screens on both sides that have Amazon Fire Stick ready with a Wi-Fi hotspot and a remote for each one.
Okay.
Fantastic. You know, make sure you guys are quiet listening back there, as long as you have a 3.5mm jack, obviously. You've also got these beautiful cushions. Who doesn't like taking a nap in a car?
Really soft with these seats.
Super nice. You do have, I can't reach from here, but you can probably reach the window shades, which are actually really important for having a small child in a car seat, because you don't want sun rays on them, but the more you put the hood up, the less air circulation they're getting. So this is really great for that.
Okay.
You obviously have your back seat climate controls, so you don't have to keep asking me to change everything. Everything back here is so I don't have to do anything. I can focus on driving.
Fair. But what if we do act up back here? I mean, I'm 6'3" right now, behind a 6'3" driving position. I have plenty of space, but I'm assuming people back here are not going to be full-grown adults all the time.
You know, everyone who grew up with a minivan knows what this mirror does, which we all kind of think of as the bad kid mirror. If this comes down, you know the parent up front is not happy. So with this, I can see if you're acting up. But just in case you've learned the blind spots of the bad kid mirror, we also have this up front. And now I have a camera, and I can see if you're hitting Billy or Brandon or Vin back there.
No way.
I can see who's hitting who.
This camera right here over my head is picking up like my two seats, and there's one over the back seats too. So
and even individually over here.
That is a lot of coverage. A feature specifically built for people who are going to have a lot of people in the back seats most of the time.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna point down a little bit because we got a little more storage here. I could probably store some stuff in here if I was in the back seat. There is also even more storage in here, some cup holders. And oh wait, we've got the sponsor of this video. So thanks to Denvix for sponsoring this video. Denvix is a smart tire inflator, super convenient for a super convenient vehicle. It claims to be 2 times faster at inflating than traditional portable ones. It also has a super large battery capacity at 15,000 milliamp hours, which means you can kind of just leave it in your vehicle as long as you want, and then you can inflate up to 7 standard tires on a single charge. And then of course, as a large battery tire inflator, fast charging is a must, and it has 2-way fast charging with PD and QC 3.0 protocols up to 45 watts, so that can charge your phone, tablets, and laptop from the battery built in. And then lastly, it has a multifunctional light, ultra bright white, yellow camping light, and red alarm for emergencies. And with all these leading features, it's more than just a tire inflator. It's also a power bank and a versatile light. It's great for road trips, camping, hiking, and more. And it fits in this nice little portable bag or case, I guess you could call it, that just goes right in that slot in the Pacifica right there. So if you want to check that out, we'll have a link in the description. And now that's sitting in the center console. I think the other thing I just admire about the minivan, though, is it's so shamelessly optimized for road trips, which is a good thing. I'm seeing this remote control down here and this back seat storage, which is to control the TV. It's got a Netflix button, a Prime Video button, a Disney Plus button, and there's also a little Pacifica on there, which if I click it, will bring us into our in-car menu, which brings me to, I think, my favorite feature. Andrew, you can tell me if this is a dumb favorite feature, but it's the "Are we there yet?" feature. Because the people in the back seat tend to do one thing, which is ask, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But how does this work? It looks like it's telling me already. Yeah, so Lane can't talk yet, so I haven't gotten to deal with this. But if you enter in the regular navigation, so not an Android Auto or CarPlay, somewhere to navigate to, then in the back there should be a little button and a whole UI experience of "Are we there yet?" So rather than you having to ask me how close we are, you can just check it out on the TV. Yeah, I'll just say, hey, it says we're going to get there at 10:26. We're almost there. And fun fact, if you go in here to the Pacifica tab, there's a whole "Are we there yet?" app, which will show this nice little animation to tell me how close we are to the destination. It's a bummer you can't get that from like Google Maps also, or like CarPlay or something like that. But if you use the built-in nav, then you can get the "Are you there yet?" thing. So that's pretty cool too. I'm gonna jump into the third row too, though, because again, your third row passengers probably not 6'3", but in case they are, can we get a little light back here? Yeah. There's a pretty large, not continuous, but very expansive sunroof over the top of us. And does that actually open too, or does it just...
I believe just the front
front
opens.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get the air in, you can get obviously the sun in, and now I'm on the back seat. And I think because of the captain's chair setup, the best spot back here for me is going to be the middle because of the legroom. But if I slide over here behind the third row, there's actually a pretty good amount of space. And there's still, you know, some cubbies for your phone, a cup holder, and another shade for somebody who's going to enjoy a nice little shade from the sun break back here. So I'm not mad. And then of course there was a camera behind us before. I guess that's probably this. This was the camera that I was looking for.
No, it's right there. Yep.
There it is. Okay, so there's a camera in front and in back, staring at the back seats. But again, soft. Headroom. Footroom. It's good. But I think, Andrew, we got one more trick for this vehicle to show them. Can you let me out the side with one of those buttons you got up there? Appreciate that. Gotta love the physical buttons. And also, can you open the trunk while you're at it? Perfect. So I remember that ID Buzz had a decent sized trunk for a three-row vehicle, but I think this has more space. There is a lot of space back here, and it's a pretty deep, cavernous space. There's also a little bit of hidden storage. What's down here? Oh, a fuse box. Cool. But there's also actual hidden storage, which is a good spot for your charging cable since this is a plug-in hybrid. But then, Andrew, I think I'm going to need your help for this one last thing because this third row does something funny.
Sure.
Ah.
So this way, it folds all the way back in, you know, want to throw your kid's bike in there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of storage space. So the third row of the Buzz was removable. The third row of a minivan sometimes just folds completely flat. And that flat floor is pretty precious because you can slide boxes in there, you can slide whatever objects, or a whole bike in there if you really want to. And if you ever need to bring people back, well, there's a tab. Slide them up, step 1. Step 2, give them some headroom too. Step 3, people are back inside. That's pretty good. Then how do you close it? Because I know a lot of them usually have a button way up at the top here.
Nice and low, easily accessible.
Very nice. Beeps a couple times, lets you get out the way. And that's the power closing door on the minivan. So look, I know I've talked a lot about things that are similar to minivans, mainly because people, I think, just don't love this. But the thing is, in a crowded parking lot, loading up a car seat or a bunch of kids or a dog, it just makes sense. The sliding door makes sense. The 500 miles of range makes sense. The incredible highway efficiency, the plug-in hybrid, the physical controls, it makes sense. So, minivan, it makes sense. I get it. So thanks to Andrew for helping us take a look at the Pacifica today, but I think I'm probably gonna continue reviewing some other non-minivans instead.
Fair.
But this is good. This is good. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.